Hello everyone, hope you are all doing well and staying safe. Today is March 14th, 2022. The following are the important articles that you have to read in the Hindu newspaper. The first article is PM briefed on missile issue, review defense situation. So this article deals with Cabinet Committee on Security CCS. Try to understand the role of CCS, how important it is, and who are or try to understand the members in the Cabinet Committee on Security are. India relocates embassy in Ukraine to Poland. Again, this is in regards to the current developing situation in Ukraine vis-a-vis Russia invading Ukraine. From that perspective, do read this article. Coming to page number 2, you don't have much of important articles here, maybe regionally, but not in terms of our examinations. Again, moving on, we'll come to editorial. I think that is where some of important articles are present. The first article is no ovation for India's stand on the Ukraine war. So this article primarily deals with India's stance to stay neutral in the given conflict between Russia and Ukraine. First, you have to understand the current predicament that India is in. You are already well aware how dependent Indian armed forces are on Russian equipment, not only in terms of equipment but also in terms of their maintenance and also in terms of their spare parts. So, from that perspective, uh, having a neutral stand in the current conflict gives a lot of credence to India's position. So, try to understand it from that perspective. This article gives you the other side of the argument in a better way. As exam demands, we need to have a balanced output or balanced understanding or balanced nuances of how this thing is playing out. So moving on to the next article, unguided missile. So this is in regards to the accident, the so-called technical accident that led to Indian armed forces, particularly Indian Air Force, firing a BrahMos missile, which we don't have any confirmation. So speculative. We are not going to deal with those things, but what we are going to try to understand from this article is how important it is for us to maintain high level of quality control, as one can put it, in terms of our armed forces behaving. So from this article you try to get that perspective. Now moving on to next article. Coming to page number 10, that would be news. Ukraine crisis delays AK-203 retrials. So what is this AK-203 deal that we have with the Russians? How important it is for us? Why we are going for AK-203? Coming to the next article, government at drugstore to sell nutraceuticals. So this is our government trying to provide medicines, particularly generic medicines, to populations to reduce their out-of-pocket expenditure for treatment, either inpatient or outpatient treatment in our country. So this particular article deals with a program called Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Prayojana. So try to understand the nuances of that scheme, why it is important, and try to get a comparison as to how drug prices are in our country when compared to other countries. The next article is environment related. A Chilka Lake area to be off limit for motorboats. Why motorboats are destructive? This is how you study this article from ecological perspective. Try to get a basic understanding of it. Again, conservation efforts are always welcome. From that perspective, we have to get about this article. Coming to page number 11, Iran claims missile barrage near US consulate in Iraq. So to editorialize this, Iran fired some 15 to 20 missiles at a location in Erbil, which they claim to be the Israeli some sort of an outpost or something like that. But nonetheless, we have to read the backdrop of it. That is the Iran nuclear deal. From that perspective, read this article. China to face consequences if it helps Russia evade sanctions. So again, article related to the current scenario in Ukraine. As a reaction to the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, Western countries led by America, UK, and Germany have imposed heavy and tough sanctions, economical sanctions on Russia. As a result of it, Russia has lost its access to not only the monetary system of the world but also resources. As a result of it, China has been functioning as an umbilical cord to Russia and providing it some relief by way of not only purchasing their oil, their food, and also helping with setting up their own financial system other than the Visa MasterCard system that Russia was dependent on. Now, America is threatening China that if you keep on supporting Russia, you are also going to face some sort of sanctions. So, that is this article. Again, exam perspective, not that much important, but overall arc we have to understand to write a comprehensive answer. Iran suspends talks with Saudi Arabia. Try to understand the relationship between Iran and Saudi Arabia becomes very important. Adani Group inks a deal for power projects in Sri Lanka. Again, Indo-Sri Lanka relations, the importance, the past tumultuous years, and the current awkward situation that we have with Sri Lanka. Given that backdrop, Chinese influence in the region. Again, editorializing. That is how we approach this article. Ahead of Ramzan, North Africa faces food crisis as price prices rise. So what you have to understand is, though we are not going to talk about the festival itself, but we are going to understand what are the factors that led to the food crisis and price rise in Northern African states. That is how you approach this article. Coming to text and context, the functioning of ISS after sanctions. Again, the sanctions imposed by Western nations is not only having impact on Earth but off Earth also, particularly in terms of US and Russia relations in International Space Station. From that perspective, read this article. The genetic variants causing severe COVID. So again, there is a concept floating around called severe COVID. This article tries to give an explanation as to what are the factors that are leading people to have severe COVID reactions and how it can impact an individual's recovery. These are the important articles that we have to read for competitive exams. Please do subscribe to the channel.